What's good, everybody? Box first of all, we in the building. Came to give you our reaction about the Ortiz book, about a lot of the things that was said ringside, the judging, just the narrative written about the fight. Let's talk about it. Chime in, man. I'm waiting for you guys to come on in. Hit me up in the comment section, things like that.
He was excellent. I'd be interested to see Lopez versus Ortiz. And he looks the part. Put those guys side by side, and you're thinking, man, Marcelino's going to crush this. I like the fact that he put the pressure on him. You know, the referee wanted to stop it, but it was an impressive.
Anyway, man, I'm about to watch a replay of this fight. I was just trying to check some technical things. Sorry for any technical difficulties, but box first of all, we in the building. Just like I said, a reaction to the fight and things that was said. We're gonna give a quick replay right now. Wait for this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go ahead and skip this. See what we can do. I sent out a link to the homie G5. Maybe he jump in. I'm not sure where the OG is at this particular time, but you know, we'll see what happens if he tap in with me. But this Lopez versus Lopez fight, that was a really decent bout. 147 got a, I wouldn't say fresh face, but it's a new face. He's a vet from Argentina. Came through, had a lot of power. Definitely a muscular guy for 140, maybe 147. Possibly good. My thing with him is the height. If you're really going up against an excellent boxer, I think the height that he has can give him issues with better boxers at 147, the Spences, the Crawford, those sort of boxers. But power-wise, the dude is built like a brick machine, and that's Nino Lopez. That being said, man, the main event was just, I mean, it was a great fight. My gripe is just the way they were calling it, the way the ringside guys were scoring it. I don't think they were giving credit for the boxing that we saw in that fight. And I'm going to go ahead and skip again so we can kind of get a chime in on what these dudes talking about. Matter of fact, let's hit it up a little bit. But anyway, man, I'm going to see if G5 jump in here shortly, and we'll go from there. I sent you the link, but if you don't jump in, man, I'm going to give you my breakdown of this main event, man, because, again, like I said, I saw great boxing. I saw good defense. And a guy that wasn't outdone, took an injury, man. It was an injury that stopped the fight, bro. It wasn't no devastation or anything like that, bro. I'm trying to get to the fight now so we get a kind of a, you know, get some of their verbiage that had me perturbed.
Of course,
we jumping in right hand in round two. Good straight right hand right there from both Ortiz. We got Hooker coming back with 5 straight jabs. This second round action of the starter right now. So again, good boxing from Hooker. A check hook that he actually check hooked, and the hook in the check hook is the slide around. If you can throw the hook and slide with it, that's a true check hook, and we saw that from Maurice Hooker tonight. So again, great boxing, good defense. In certain situations, I did see him get out muscled, so to speak. So I think weight is an issue, especially at 147, and you looking at guys like Spence who just walking around like brick houses. Maurice Hooker's 147 weight did give me a little question, but his boxing ability is what gave him the edge in these early rounds that I'm talking to you guys about right now. Oh, let me see if Jeff in the building. Let me send the link out. Jeff, you in here with me, my guy?
What's up, family? Can you hear me?
Oh, what's going on, man? I got the replay going on in the background. I'm gonna get the volume down real quick. I'm just talking to whoever was in the live with me right now. You know, it was early, but your thoughts and your reactions to the fight so far, my dude?
It was a good fight, man. Good fight. It was funny because I was talking earlier to a bunch of different people about how Maurice Hooker was going to actually fight the fight. Shane actually thought he was going to be running from the opening bell, and I was like, "Bro, you crazy?" I'm like, "He's going to come in and scrap," and I'm like, "That's his problem. Like, he'll fight smart, but he don't ever fight smart for long periods of time, and that's the difference between an average fighter and a really good one." And he was doing well. Like, he was doing well. Like, he was doing better than a lot of people expected. There's a lot of people that I know that can't stand Maurice Hooker, and they had to give it up. They was like, "Yo, Maurice Hooker did a lot better than I thought." You know what I'm saying? And he just got dumb. He just got dumb. Like, after round maybe 4, or matter of fact, it might have been the back half of round 4 on. He just got real dumb. He just got real dumb. Like, the game plan that was working for him went out the window. Like, and I don't know if he just, you know how some guys just get caught into the crowd, caught into the moment. That's what it looked like to me. But if he would have continued with the game plan, he would have been fine. But he wanted to sit in the pocket, go to war with the younger, stronger guy. And that's what happened. He did the same thing in the Ramirez fight. He did the same thing in the Saucedo fight. He just so happened to get Saucedo up out of there. But this is the third time he's done this in a big time fight. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised what happened. But he fought well. He fought well. He just got dumb. I just don't think he's a good enough fighter to sustain fighting a smart fight.
Well, you know, me and you talked right before the live, and we kind of, you know, sort of disagreed a little bit. I gotta agree and disagree with you. You know what I mean? With your spill right there. Great fight. He fought. I didn't think he fought dumb. I think when you look at that 6th, 7th round, that's where you start trying to get that second win to box. And at that time, Ortiz did what he was supposed to do. Jump on the opponent that's slowed down a little bit. Jump on the opponent that's not making you run into anything right now. And on the flip side, Hooker did that. He tried to make him run into something. And to me, that's what stopped the fight. Hooker threw a punch that injured himself. And we saw this a couple weeks ago, where the guy winning the fight is the guy that took the injury and actually lost the fight. That's, in my estimation, I forget the two gentlemen's name, but we just saw it recently where the guy broke his hand on old boy's head. That being said,
I know you're talking about.
It reminds me of what we saw tonight. I thought Maurice Hooker was winning a boxing match. Was he winning a fight? You could say he was winning a fight too. You feel me? Because of the damage that he was able to do on his opponent and the movement, defense. When he threw that right hand, it reacted to his whole arm. You see what I'm saying? It could have been the hand that got broke. It also could have been elbow damage, and you also could have had some shoulder contusion in a punch where you kind of hit the brick wall. And that's kudos to Ortiz for having a solid head. You feel me? Because he threw that punch, and the punch it hurt him. And when you get hurt, when you hurt yourself, you kind of step back, and the turning your back to me was his form of stepping back. We've seen the other fighter do it. Again, their name slipped my mind, and that's no disrespect to them. But I do remember the fight, and I remember it clearly. I had that gentleman up. when he threw that punch and landed it to the other guy's forehead and actually hurt himself to where he couldn't continue to put in the work that he was putting in. That being said, though, the commentary that was going on, the Ortiz up 5 rounds to nothing, that sort of stuff, it hurts boxing, man. You got to have people that you pay, but you pay them to speak fairly. You pay them to represent what they see. You understand what I'm saying? That's the job of an analyst and a commentator. That's why we do this, what we do so well, because we call what we see. It's not like we're imagining things and we're trying to write a narrative so people can believe they saw something that they didn't see. We saw excellent boxing. We saw excellent fighting tonight, but we did not see one fighter running away with the fight. And Sergio and the rest of them dudes whose names I'm not even going to bring up because they're not even worth it. They're not fighters. They just dudes that hold a microphone and couldn't take a body punch from an OG like myself. And I ain't really been scrapping in a long time. But that being said, I just think it's a black eye on boxing when you call these fights like this, man. You guys are analysts. You guys should be speaking what we all are seeing because you're describing to the public what they actually saw. You just want to make sure they're up on what they saw, whether it's a pivot move, right hand, overhand, right hand body shot, you know, these type of punches that we know what these punches are in boxing. That being said, what was your take on the ringside commentary?
As far as in commentary, I mean, I wasn't surprised. You know, Virgil Ortiz is the house fighter, the guy that they're trying to build up. So, you know how these networks do it. The commentators are gonna cater towards the house fighter. I mean, you know, when ESPN does fights, they do the same thing. When HBO used to do fights, outside of like Max and maybe Roy Jones, like, you know, like the other guys, they were doing it on HBO, like on Showtime, they do it. Like, so it's just, uh, it's an overall problem. I'm not gonna sit up here and say like the zone's the only one that does it. It's just it's a boxing problem. You know what I mean? Like it really is. Um, as far as Maurice Hooker is concerned, um, what round was that? He was getting in trouble. Was that round 5? Was that round 5? He was
I
getting
had
in
it round
trouble.
5. Yeah, because round 4
Round.
I had close rounds, but I thought his movement won it. He actually counterpunched good in round 4. I'm actually watching round 4 right now. We had good volume counterpunching from Maurice Hooker. Like he didn't throw one shot and slide. He actually stood in the pocket, countered, then moved. I thought Virgil seemed to be quicker, but it didn't show up in the fight. I didn't see Virgil's speed showing up in the fight. So I gave Virgil the edge when I did my preview video. I hope everybody tapped into that. And if not, you can double back and check it out. See if I was on point on my call. I thought it was a 50-50 fight. I linked one way for Hooker because of the veteran nature and him stepping up and new possibilities at 147. But I know about the Phenom and his power. So I did have it a 50-50 in my preview video. That being said, I thought speed edge in the preview, I gave it to Virgil, but I actually didn't see that in this fight. And I got to be honest, neither fighter's speed jumped off the screen at me. So, I mean, still a good fight, but I kind of was off when I so I want to apologize with my misread, but giving Virgil Ortiz the speed edge. Virgil Ortiz
Well,
team.
I don't think you were wrong though. I think Virgil Ortiz has the faster hands. Like, and even if a person thought that Maurice Hooker had the faster hands, Virgil Ortiz is more compact. So Virgil Ortiz shots is probably going to get to the point before Maurice Hooker's does. So that wasn't a bad take, to be honest with you. I actually agree with that. I think Virgil Ortiz does have the slight hand speed advantage. But this was one of those fights where like the speed wasn't going to really matter. You know what I mean? Like it was just, this was clearly just one of those fights where Maurice Hooker had to fight a disciplined fight, and he just didn't fight.
So let's get into it, bro, because this is where we kind of had a hashing, over the phone real quick, and I ain't want to have no falling out over no fight. So I
Nah,
thought you were wrong, bro. You saying he didn't fight discipline, bro? I I disagree with you because even fighting discipline, you still have to catch your breath. You still have to slow down. You have to reboot, so to speak. You feel what I'm saying? It's like hitting a refresh. So when you're saying he fought undisciplined, I thought he was trying to refresh, take a step back, use the rope, but not per se lean on the ropes, but let
this
his opponent and Ortiz come forward, look good, but he was catching his breath. And when he answered, bro, he got hurt. It was his shot landing on the opponent that hurt him. It wasn't no body shots. It wasn't no super devastating punch from Ortiz that just completely stopped the fight out of the blue. So I think we disagree with his undisciplinedness. You feel
this
what I'm saying?
why
Like, you
this why
have
I
to fight.
love talking to you, yo. This why I love talking to you because I'm like, even if we disagree on something, it don't take us too long to get on the same page. I'm gonna tell you why I said what I said in terms of him not being disciplined. And this was the one round where he went where he was. I think it was round 5.
Yeah, that's the round I'm watching right now, bro.
Virgil Ortiz, he was landing hella body shots. I'm talking stab jabs to the body, hooks to the body, and he literally went in the corner, bro. This Maurice Hooker. He literally went in the corner. Bo Mac told him, you can't just stand there and just let him pound on you like that. He said, yo, I couldn't breathe because of the body shot. My bad. And Bo Mac said, yo, like that round's over. We can't get it back. Just move forward. So he was out of like he was damaged from all of those body shots he was taking in that round. But the reason he was getting damaged with all those body shots is because he was getting too comfortable. He was getting too comfortable sitting in the pocket because he had a little bit of success. I even left it on our group chat. I left it
Can I
on our
stop
group
you
chat
right
on
there?
Instagram.
In
Go
the
ahead.
round that you're describing, he's still moving, bro. So I doubt.
Bro, just
I,
because
I
you
have to
moving don't
disagree
mean you
with you
can't get
saying he
caught with
got
body
comfortable.
shots. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but the body shots made him move, but he was still moving. So I don't think. I mean, that what you're saying, like his combinations that he was throwing, his counterpunch combinations. I agree that he maybe got a little bit like, yo, I can get off,
He got happy,
and
bro. He got
yeah,
happy.
got happy.
He
Yeah, he
got
got
real
happy.
happy.
I maybe the terminology I think we could disagree with, but I do say he did get happy because even in round 5, he opened up in the last 20 seconds, which I'm watching right now. He threw a 4-punch combination inside. So he did do sort of the toe-to-toe thing that we talking about. But let's be specific. When it came to the end of the fight, G5, you got to be honest, Brody. It was an injury that stopped the
No,
fight, bro.
bro,
It wasn't.
I never commented
No, no,
on how
not
to end the
not
fight.
that you did that. No,
Oh,
not
okay.
that you did that, but
Okay.
like just putting it out to the people that may be watching right now
Okay.
that
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It sort of was an injury that stopped the fight. It wasn't
No.
per se anything Virgil Ortiz in particular
Now
did.
they asked him in the interview after the fight, did you take a knee because you hurt your hand or did you take a knee because of a shot? He said both. And he said that was out of his own mouth. He said both. So I guess people can, I guess they
No,
can run with it how
I
they
didn't
want to run
get
with it.
that. It didn't sound that way to me. It
No, that's
sounded
literally
like
what he said. That's literally what he said. Like he literally
yeah,
said it.
bro. But they talk to these dudes, bro. You know they be like wanting to know what these dudes gonna say, even in a split second live like that. There's somebody there to kind of what's the feel, what you gonna say, don't say this, don't say that sort of thing.
But
It's all
not
about
not in the
promotion,
ring
like you
though.
said earlier. Huh?
They don't. I can see backstage, but this was immediately in the ring, and he said it, and it came out of his own. I'm just telling you what he said. I'm just telling you what he
Yeah,
said.
I get you. I don't think he meant it that way because again, the body work was good, but in the round that the fight stopped, and that's the round I'm watching now. It wasn't the body work that stopped the fight. It was the
No, I'm
fucking
not.
body.
I'm not. No, I don't agree with that in terms of the body work stopping the fight. No, like I honestly believe he got hit with a shot. He got hit with a shot, but it was mainly his hand or his elbow, whatever it was. I think that was what That's why he took the knee. That's why he took the knee. Like, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. It's
Because
just
I'm looking at it in this round, he was actually throwing more lead right hands than he had threw in the whole fight. So he was trying to back off Ortiz or keep him at bay, just from consistent pressure. And it was working early in the first minute of the round.
yeah,
That lead double up right hand that he was throwing kept Ortiz kind of in around that Hennessy double S at that wide area and kept him off the ropes. And then when he really went to throw it again, it got him in trouble, bro. And the injuries in boxing, we know it's a physical sport, but it's just an ugly way to end such a good fight. And then it also makes the loser look as if he really lost. You see what I'm saying?
I actually think Maurice Hooker actually he he actually he probably gained some fans tonight. Even though he lost technically, I think he gained some fans tonight for sure. He gained some fans tonight.
I agree with that.
I think more of him tonight than I did before the fight started. I can tell you that.
So what about the people that were in? And this is a Texas fight. What about the people that were there booing? What's your feel on that? Because we both agree that he should have won fans. So your take on his last quote of the people booing and the way he exited.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of Virgil Ortiz fans there, so I mean, I was expecting some to boo, and then the place, it was a good amount of people there, but of course it wasn't like Texas packed. You dig what I'm saying? It wasn't Texas packed. So you can hear more things than what you usually would in a fight. So it could be 10, 15 people booing, and if they're close to you while you're doing the interview, then you responding to those 10, 15 people. You're not responding to the whole entire crowd. You dig what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's one of them things, man, where it's just, if Hooker was a natural 147, like, I would have had no problem with the style that he went with in this fight. The fact that he was coming up from 140 to 147, he's obviously a smaller guy in terms of body mass. Like, Virgil Ortiz is a natural 147. Hooker is a natural 140. And he was trying them same tactics at 140, and it wasn't working at 140 for him. That's why I predicted Virgil Ortiz was going to stop him in the eighth. That was my prediction. I was a round off, but it went.
I said inside 8 if there was a stoppage by Virgil too. But again, like I said earlier on this live, I was pulling for the vet to kind of use some of that boxing savvy on a young head hunting, just a stalker sort of predator in Ortiz. I thought he could have, and he savvied him for 6 good rounds. I thought he actually was winning 4-2.
I didn't score the fight, so it's not.
I was on Twitter scoring live, so if anybody watching, go check my Twitter, see where I was at with it. And
yeah, I didn't score the fight live. I think that I did talk to some people. I would say maybe about 6 different people left me messages, and pretty much all of them had it 4-2 Virgil. Again, I gotta watch the fight because I don't score. You don't score. When you score rounds, you score them your way. I score them my way. But a lot of times we end up pretty close as far as scoring fights. So I'm actually kind of interested to see how I'm actually going to score it.
I had
a lot of people I respect had it.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I only had a 4-2 because of the knockout. I'm not gonna lie. I had a 4-2 because of the knockout. Even around round 5 or round 6 where he was coming on, I still saw excellent boxing from Hooker because he didn't stay there, bro, and just like center the ring or even get backed off. He kind of slid, sat down, caught his breath, kind of, pocketed up, covered up. You know what I mean? Kind of ate some shots and kind of got out of there again. So I thought I still saw good boxing. That I mean, it was just close, even in a round that people say he lost. I thought it was still a close round because I'm real tight with my boxing. I think you have to look at everything in boxing. Because if you look at aggressiveness in boxing, we could take the earlier Zan card in the in the cruiserweight WBO title. You had a vet coming forward, but you had a vet coming forward ineffectively, and it eventually got himself knocked out. So I saw the same thing with Ortiz. He was seemingly the more aggressive fighter, but it was ineffective with his coming forward. He was getting outboxed, his positioning. I even put a clip up on IG. I hope y'all tap into me, where we showed the youngster trying to do a vet move, pivot, and get some shots off. And we saw Hooker defend it. He beat him to the pivot, defended, caught everything, slid out, and doubled up on the jab. And I put that clip up on IG. So just to show you, I thought he was just getting outboxed, bro, to support my stance on him getting outboxed. He got the stoppage, win, victory via TKO, because it can happen. You can blow a knee. Shout out to the boy, what's the boy, Hawker or Hawkins from Baltimore that
Oh
blew a
yeah,
fight.
yeah, that
So
yeah.
same thing. You can get a victory even in a losing effort. And that's what I thought happened tonight. Best way to label this fight. Getting a victory in a losing effort.
Yeah, yeah, I mean Hooker definitely yeah, I mean he definitely earned some stripes tonight. For sure. Definitely earned some stripes. Um it's just I'm so familiar with Hooker as a fighter, even when he was having success in the early rounds. It was really only two things I was looking for with Hooker. Number one, now I want to address a few things that you said. Number one, yes, Maurice Hooker was moving. Yes, he was moving. Um, Second thing, he did some really good offensive work in there. He did some good offensive work. Um, it was times where he was defensively responsible. I give you that. There was two things I was looking for with Hooker. I was like, number one, during the course of a round, how many exchanges is he getting into? I mean, in the pocket, bang, bang, exchanges. How many is he getting into during the course of a round? And number two, is Virgil Ortiz getting body shots off? Those are the two things that I was looking for. Even when Hooker was having success within the first four rounds, he still was getting into too many exchanges with him. And he was still letting Virgil Ortiz get these little body shots off, but they were effective. He was putting money in the bank to, get him hurt a little later on. And that's what happened with Hooker. Like Hooker just he was gonna have to fight damn near a perfect fight to, and then he's in Texas. He still might not have got the decision. You know what I'm saying? So Hooker just wasn't big enough to carry out what he was trying to do in there, and he just lost to the stronger guy, and it's crazy because I haven't heard you use your favorite phrase, because you usually say like, hey, this guy landed the heavier clean, like the heavier shots, and even when Maurice Hooker was having success, they was getting to them exchanges. Virgil Ortiz was landing the heavier shots. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to watch. I would have to watch the fight to score it. But when you facing a bigger guy like that, you can't let a guy get too many clean shots or even give him too many clean opportunities. So even when Maurice Hooker was having success, he was still giving Virgil Ortiz too many clean opportunities to respond, and eventually it came to bite him. And that's pretty much what it was.
Well, man, I just wanted to catch a quick vibe from you, bro. I didn't want to keep you too long. I know we both been up working on this platform,
Get a couple
doing
more
what
minutes
it
in there,
do.
brother. Hold on. So what was your scorecard? Just to be official. So
I had it going into 7. I had it 4-2, and only 4-2 because of the knockdown, bro. Because even in the round that you had him coming on, I personally saw good movement, good defense at the same time, at good pressure. So if you wanted to give a draw round, which I do personally use in boxing, I use draw round. Shout out to my folks across the pond. They do the same thing over there. So big shout out to them. But I just thought it was a close fight at the end where you could say, okay, Ortiz round 5, maybe I'll give you that. But 4-2 after the end of 6, it stopped in the 7th. So obviously you ain't going to judge the 7th, but 4-2. I thought it
Yeah,
was a
it's
boxing match that he was winning.
yeah.
He had to slow down. You got to catch your second breath. You need a round. You need a round and a half minimum to get that second breath.
But I
My
don't think
thing
he was.
was,
I
and then
don't.
I tweeted this. I
Mhm.
said it ain't over yet. I gave Ortiz. I mean, I gave your boy round 4, but I said it ain't over yet. And that's when he got the knockdown in the next round. And I came back and I was like, see, I said it ain't over because I seen that. I seen the pressure coming. But at the same time, it if that injury wasn't there, I think he would have stood the pressure and we would have seen an issue on the scorecard.
Now that's what
Personally
we.
myself.
Now I'll disagree
Because
with that.
his body shots
I
helped to
disagree
slow
with
him
that.
down, but the boxing, the movement caused you so much loss of energy. You were sitting on a lot of punches because, again, like I said earlier, he threw combination counter punches. He did not throw single or double counter punches. He threw combinations, so he was getting his money off. Like they said, he averages 75 punches a round. That's how he gets his money off. I'm gonna eat in between you eating, and he blocked real good. I saw a lot of good defense, not a lot of clean shots landed early, especially to the face from Virgil Ortiz, and he showed good effort. His accuracy wasn't that good early because he was going up against a vet that gave out good defense, man. So it 4-2, man, 4-2.
Yeah,
That's how
Hooker
it is as
again.
far as
Like
that case
Hooker
goes.
fought well. Like Hooker fought well. I don't want to take anything away from Maurice Hooker. Like he fought well. He fought with a lot of heart. He fought a lot better than I thought he was gonna fight tonight. Like he came in and he planted his feet on the ring mat and was like, let's get it in a sense. And you got to do nothing but respect both guys because I mean both of them went in there and really put on a good show. And I mean Virgil Ortiz face shows it. I mean Maurice Hooker did some good work in there. He did some good work. It's just with Hooker, what he was doing during the early rounds, it really he was just letting. I guess my main thing was that I actually thought he started feeling them body shots after the third round. He started feeling them little stab jabs and shit like that after the third round. And then the fifth round, he really started. He just lost his breath, period. And he admitted it in the corner. Like,
But that's where I disagree, bro. I mean, no, I agree and take away from what you just said because his movement also affects the loss of win. You see what I'm saying?
but
So
it
if
was
you can
early
hit
though. It
on
was
top of the
early.
movement, then it's like a double entendre. You know what I mean? You're feeling effects from either side of it. Like, damn, if I move, I'm losing my breath. If I stand
But
here, he's gonna hit me. I'm gonna lose my breath.
but
So
Hooker,
that's
if you
why when he fired hard, and that shot stopped the fight. Because
but
I think it was a
Hooker,
shot that he realized I probably don't
but
have the power to keep this guy off me. I got the power to get a little respect from him, earn my points on judges' scorecards, such as Boxing First Raw scorecard. But to keep him off him, I don't think he did have it. I
so
need to see my guy back at 140. I need to see my guy
yeah,
maybe
he
in a
definitely
catchweight
needs to
fight
go
against
back down to
Adrian Broner.
140. He
That's the fight
definitely
I'm
needs to go
calling
back
for
down
right
to
now.
140.
I think he deserves a money fight, and
He
that's a good money fight.
now
Showtime.
I don't think he should be at 147 either. He definitely got to go back down to 140.
That's what I said. Right now,
No, I said I agree with you. I agree with you.
catch weight, something 144, 143, something like that.
Yeah, he fought like he did the best he could tonight. Like I didn't even have a problem with the movement. Like I don't think he did any unnecessary movement. Let me explain it that way. I don't think he did any unnecessary movement. When he had to pivot out, he pivoted out. When he had to take a quick little walk, he took a quick little walk. When it was time for him to stand there and bang a little bit, he banged a little bit. It was just Virgil, and part of this you got to give Virgil Ortiz credit because a kid that's 22 years old, they're not really consistent to the body. They're not consistent to the body. Virgil
Oh no,
body on him.
I kind of take that away. I disagree a little bit just because of his heritage. That we know Latin fighters are heavy body punchers, and he concentrated, even though he missed a lot that were blocked early. I disagree with you on that one a little bit slightly. I thought he did concentrate on the body because, like you said, he started throwing a stab jab to the body to get something off, to set his range again too. So just a little bit, I disagree that he didn't concentrate on the body. I don't think he exclusively went body, where we do agree right there. But I thought he did.
Not exclusive. He didn't go exclusive, but I would say a good portion of his offense was body. He made sure he was touching the body. I would say probably after maybe the second round, I think from the third round on, he really started going body. He really started going body. But Maurice Hooker made it. But Maurice Hooker made it. He didn't make himself an easy target because again, he was doing smart moving. He wasn't doing unnecessary moving. For the people that's listening, let me explain unnecessary moving. If a guy is not in range to land shots and you're still moving around, that's unnecessary moving. You understand what I'm saying? When you have an opportunity to pop a jab off and you got that, and you have Hooker's type of reach, you don't have to move. Like Hooker didn't really do that tonight. So he didn't do any unnecessary movement as far as I was concerned. I was perfectly fine with the movement. It was just the fact you got to give credit to Virgil Ortiz because he was putting money in the bank. He was going to the body, hooks, stab, jabs. Even if he wasn't landing clean, he was hitting elbows, hitting arms, and ultimately it got him to slow down. And I mean, it was a good fight. I got a question for you though. Virgil Ortiz going forward, who would you like to see him fight next? I got two names. I got one name in mind, but go ahead.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna motherfucking lie. I need to see him and Boots in there because I know Boots gonna beat Sergey Lipinets. No disrespect to Sergey, he's a decent fighter. All respect to my Russian folks, but he ain't the business. He don't have the skills. To me, this fight against Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz is a styles make fight. You got a boxer, pivot mover against a dude that's a stalker, good body puncher. But you also got sneaky power in Boots that people ain't respecting him for. And his quick hands, if a slower dude in Hooker did the damage on Virgil's face, a guy with the fast hands and Boots Ennis gonna turn his face into hamburger meat. I'm paying $129 pay-per-view for that fight. I set the price at $129 pay-per-view. That is a mega fight. Styles make matchups. You have to make a style matchup fight. This one was close. There was a speed balance. The speed was equal in this fight. Give me a dude that's quicker than him and as strong as him. He gonna beat that ass. And that's no disrespect to Virgil. I got a lot of respect for the young warrior. But I think he needs to fight somebody that can really box. Maurice Hooker is not your quote-unquote Philly style boxer. Like, we box and fight. Boots Ennis is a boxer and a fighter. like puncher, like he can bang with you. Obviously, with all the KOs he got on his record, I don't care if he's knocking out calf drop, he's still knocking him the fuck out. That's a fight that I think the public needs to see. That's a fight that I'm gonna start pushing in these next coming weeks.
Yeah, Boots, he dog walks Virgil Ortiz. He started like he dog walks him. He dog
I
walks
said it.
him. Yeah, he stops Virgil Ortiz probably in, I would say maybe
I say 8.
I would say like 7 or 8.
7 to 8. That's the same thing I thought in this
Yeah,
one.
like I agree with everything you said. For Maurice Hooker to get off the way he got off, and Boots is light years ahead of him offensively and defensively. Like that fight, you know what that fighter looked like to me? That fighter looked like Floyd Gotti.
Ooh.
I honestly think that's how that fight would look.
Ooh. I was actually thinking Floyd Canelo. I was because it was still a good fight because you believed in Canelo's power, so people kept watching, even though he was losing a boxing match. Just because of the young power, you thought he could have a chance in maybe 9, 10, somewhere in there. But, you know, when you're dealing with a slick vet and who's naturally blessed in the Mayweathers, the Bruce Ennises, those sort of fighters, you know, the Pernell Whitaker type of guys, it's just hard to really get them off their rocker, even in the championship rounds. It's just hard to really catch up to them and get that money shot home. So I do agree with you. I think Boots dog walks him, but that's the fight I'm actually want to see. I think that's the fight.
And the thing is, bro, I don't think Virgil Ortiz. Listen, credit to Virgil Ortiz. Credit to Virgil Ortiz. He did what he had to do to get the victory. And yes, a lot of Mexican fighters, they focus on the body. But the thing is, sometimes when they step into their first big fight, some of these young cats forget about the body. He didn't forget about it. So we gotta give him, kudos for that.
Yeah. But again, remember I said this a few minutes back though. I think it's just part of the style of the Latin fighter. We know we can go all the way back to Julio Cesar Chavez. They're just infamous for that left hook to the body. I think
but this was his first. I'm with you 100%. This was his first big fight, though. The fact that he didn't forget the body in his first big fight and didn't get caught in the moment, like he stayed within himself. That's a good thing because a lot of fighters lose themselves.
Yeah, like you said, he did. Mm-hmm. If the left hand wasn't getting home consistently, he switched it up. And like you said, he stab jab, set his range back again. Because the stab jab is also a range finder to see, okay, how far do I really got to wind up on this left hook? Do I got to go behind the elbow?
Good point.
You see what I'm saying? So the stab jab is also a range finder for your next body shot. Because a lot of the times he did go right back to the left hook off the stab jab because he found himself in good range to try to attempt it. So I think he boxed smart, bro. Even though he was eating shots, and this is where we're gonna start giving respect to the victor. And from my side, my commentary on the fight, and I thought he lost on the points, but when you talk about style and game plan, the corner did an excellent job on keeping them focused, not letting them move hurt them. You see what I'm saying? Because that was a big win. Go ahead, bro. I didn't want to cut you off. I didn't hear.
No, he Virgil Ortiz stayed the course. You know, he did a good job in there tonight. The one thing I will say is Virgil Ortiz is not ready for the big boys yet. He is not ready for the big boys.
Bro, I'm gonna disagree with that. That's where I gotta disagree with you.
Who does he beat?
Talk about. Now before I disagree with you, let me ask you that. What level? Are we talking A+, Spence Crawford?
Yeah,
are we talking
Spence
just a regular A, the Porters, the Danny Garcia type?
No, I'll run it down for you. Spence stops him. Spence stops Ortiz. Bud stops Ortiz.
Bud stops Ortiz.
Bud stops Ortiz. Boots stops Ortiz. Um,
I'm gonna stop you right there on the Bud and the Boots. I'm gonna say just off the top, I'll say Boots and Bud can outbox them. I still think they will both make interesting fights because the youngster just has so much power, bro. And he's consistent with the way he fights. It's not like he started trying to run when he got in a little trouble because he received some damage. He backed off a little bit in round 4. If you go back and look at it, Hooker had him backing up a little bit, but he never let himself hit the ropes. He never let himself say, okay, I got hit, I'm hurt, I'm a little tired. He said, fuck it, I'm gonna reset myself and I'm gonna go back forward. And again, even in that round, he started backing Hooker back up, but Hooker was using some of his boxing and he got tired. Because that second win, it's a mother trucker, bro. Like on everything. I hate when boxers have to get it, but yet when they have to get it is when they give their opponent that opportunity. You see what I'm saying? Because we as people, we all get that second win, or as combatants and as competitionary type of people, we get that second win, that reboost of adrenaline at different times. Ortiz didn't have to get his second win. So I think he won, I wouldn't say conditioning, just mindset. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, if you can
Maurice Hooker
understand where I'm
body
coming
shot
from with
just
that.
wasn't. Maurice Hooker was trying to throw to the body. They just weren't doing nothing to Ortiz. He tried to go to the body at times. He didn't give Virgil Ortiz a reason to even have to tap into the second win. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Yeah, but
I agree with that.
yeah, but I think Spence stops.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna add to you saying that? I don't think he made a miss enough, bro. When you make a fighter like Ortiz get a second win, is when he misses the punches. That is when he takes the energy. When you're blocking it, it's good from a judging aspect, but when you're talking about trying to get an edge, a mental edge, also, it's when go back to the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. Mayweather really won that fight off of making his opponent truly miss so many punches that frustrated him that he couldn't even change his game plan to try to win the fight.
Yeah, but Hooker don't have that. Hooker don't have that defensive skill set though.
No, but I get you. I'm not saying that he does, but what I'm saying is, it's just something that didn't help him not being able to make Ortiz miss.
I agree with that. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you feel me? So I
agree with that. I agree with that.
You know, I try to look at it from little different ways.
I'm with that. That's a fact. That's a fact. Virgil's not ready for the big boys. Like Spence beats him, Boots beats him, Crawford beats him.
All right, so give me a name right now. Is he all right? Before you give me the name, quick question: is he pay-per-view material?
Down the line, yes. Down the line, yes. Right now, no. If he's the B side to like a Spence or a Bud, then yeah, he's going on pay-per-view. But like him, like headlining.
Hold up. Before you explain yourself, then you really kind of contradicted your answer. Because all I just asked, I honestly asked. I never said A side or B side. I just said, is he pay-per-view?
I said not right now.
But yeah, but then you said he is if he's a certain size. So that's all I'm saying.
But that's not me contradicting myself because if Spence and Bud's fighting, they're fighting pay-per-view. So if he's fighting them, he's automatically on pay-per-view. Outside of them two, he's not pay-per-view.
That's what I'm
not right now. Not right now.
Not right now. So
not right now. Down the line, yes. Down the line, yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So let me kind of redirect the question.
Okay.
If they did if they did Crawford, Virgil, Ortiz, say July,
right?
Would you pay for that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
So then, bro, that's you kind of saying he's pay-per-view.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a good fight. When you ask if a person is pay-per-view, you're not asking that thinking they're the B side. If you saying somebody's pay-per-view, I'm thinking, can they carry a pay-per-view? Anybody can be the B side of a pay-per-view. You see what I'm
No,
saying?
that now, Jeff, come on,
Bro,
man. You
Sean
a
Porter's
vet
not,
and
bro.
you
I'm about
know
to
better
prove you
than to
wrong
say
right
that.
now. I'm about to prove you wrong right now.
Jeff,
Sean
let
Porter
me
is not
let me
pay-per-view.
stop you. I'm gonna
Bro,
let you get your spill in.
Sean Porter is not pay-per-view. Did he not do numbers with Earl Spence? Yes, he did. He didn't do no other pay-per-view. He did no other pay-per-view numbers, but was he on pay-per-view? Yes, he was. Because of Spence. Mikey Garcia, the same thing. He's not a pay-per-view guy. He's not a pay-per-view guy, but he was when he faced Spence. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, bro.
Yeah, but that I can say what you just said. That is the same thing. Pay-per-view is pay-per-view, A or B. It's
But
still the same.
you asked me if he was ready for pay-per-view. Are you talking,
No,
can he carry a pay-per-view, or can he
I
just
didn't
be on a
say.
pay-per-view
See you
period?
now, Jeff. That's where you misconstrued what I asked you. I said, is he pay-per-view? I didn't say, can he
Bro,
carry pay-per-view? Is he A side of pay-per-view?
you
I
got
just said, is he pay-per-view?
bro, when you ask a question, bro, if I face Spence, I'm pay-per-view. That's
No,
what
you're
I'm
not.
saying. Like,
No, you're not.
if you're
I would
asking if
not pay
somebody's pay-per-view,
$89 to see Spence fight somebody that I don't know, doesn't have a record, doesn't have a buzz, isn't ringing bells, that even isn't memorable. Like, yo, remember 5 years ago he knocked such and such out? That's who Spence fighting. That sort of thing. You see what I'm saying? That's untrue,
so
bro.
what? So what's your definition of just is he pay-per-view? Like, what's your definition of that?
And when I asked that question, and I asked it specifically about Virgil Ortiz for all the folks that will be listening, I don't see nobody in the building right now, but you know it's late, so it is what it is.
They can play it back.
Yeah, but anyway, for the folks that will listen, I say pay-per-view meaning sellable, marketable. His performance tonight.
Okay, that's a different question though. That's a different question. I can answer that.
No,
That's a
that's a
different
basic
question.
question, Jeff. That's
Bro, you
is
literally said,
it.
you literally said, is he pay-per-view? That's it. You gave me no details, no nothing. If you
No,
ask me,
no.
if you
So
ask any
when I
boxing
say
person,
that,
bro,
hold on, Jeff, let me explain myself, bro.
go ahead,
You
go
jumping
ahead,
down my throat, and I don't want you to do that. Let the host for a second.
go ahead. You got
When
it.
I said is he pay-per-view, I meant for you to think as a boxing analyst, because that's what you do, and you the best in the business, and I don't call you the guru for no reason.
I appreciate that,
That's
bro.
why I thought you would have been on the same page based on the performance we saw tonight, the event. Is he pay-per-view? Can he be A side, B side, whatever, pay-per-view? The whole
Okay,
abundance of it,
I
whatever
can
you
answer that.
wanted to put him in your particular pay-per-view event.
I can answer
It,
that. I can answer. All right, no, I can
that's
answer
what I
more
thought. That's
detail. I
why
can
I meant
answer
when
that.
I said, like, is he pay-per-view? I
I'm
was
with
just
you.
saying,
No, I'm with
event,
you. You explained.
whoever.
Yeah, but you explained exactly what you meant. I got you. I got you. So to answer your question, since you broke it down that way, if he fights Spence in a pay-per-view, is he bringing value to it? Is he bringing value to that pay-per-view? If that pay-per-view goes down in Texas, yes, that's a big pay-per-view in terms of the gate. A lot of people are going to show up because both of them are from Texas. Okay, but
This was a good fight for Texas because
this
it
was
was
a
an
great fight in
instant
Texas,
rivalry.
right?
So that fight will do tremendous numbers. That's why I
Yes,
said in
that would do great
general,
numbers. We'll do great
I
numbers.
think
Now,
even on the Crawford, I think that's pay-per-view.
well,
They can
it
put that
is
on for
that is pay-per-view.
69, 79, 99 type of thing. The
Yes, that's pay
$80
per view. That's pay per view, absolutely. But
based on his performance, bro. You see what I'm saying? Not the results, because we know the results were what happens in boxing. You get, headbutts and these sort of things that can
well,
kind of just throw a good fight way to the left. Like
even
that
if
happens in boxing. That's why we stay tuned in. That's why me and guys like you and other real hardcores, we can break down what we're seeing. Because again, I saw a pay-per-view fighter in Virgil Ortiz. I saw the guy that could be the underdog and market a fight, be the what you would say a B side, or even an A side in a certain with a certain other name. You see what I'm saying? Like to me, right now, if you put Virgil Ortiz and Adrian Broner in the ring, Virgil Ortiz is the A side. Would you agree or
I
disagree
agree
with
with
that
that. No,
statement?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
See, that's what I mean. When that goes back to my original question: is he pay-per-view? You see what I'm saying? And I think that's a fight that they could make because Showtime definitely could use a little support with the AB name. You see what I'm saying? So maybe some sort of NABO title, something, some sort of strap that's not the big
They
boy,
don't need
but
no title for that fight.
I mean, but just to make it a 12 rounder, because I
Hey, bro.
still got no
Hey, bro.
explanation of why that last
Bro,
fight
you
was a
just
12
went up
rounder.
against Santiago in a 12-round fight with no belt on the line, and you made that point.
That's what I'm asking. You need to be able to be better at making why it's a 12-round fight, bro. I'm still waiting for an explanation. I got nothing. I think I reached out to the to Showtime on the email, and they never
Nobody
gave me
gonna
an
give you no
explanation why
response
that
to
was
that.
a 12-round fight.
They don't have no response to that. Nobody
I
has no
see.
response to
I
that.
mean, I know I'm not nobody in this boxing game, but I
No,
thought
it's
at
just a
least
legit
you
question.
could give me a little
Legit
email
question.
response.
Yeah, it's just a legit question. Like it didn't make no sense to me either. Like but it's like Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is in a position right now where if he fights Spence, Bud, Boots, trying to think who else. I would say those three is definitely pay-per-view. Like it's definitely pay-per-view. Like just he's the B side of a pay-per-view. Um him and Boots will be even. But Spence and Bud, he's definitely the B side of a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Now getting a
he's
little
B side in anything outside of spit. I mean, he's B side when it comes to the top two halls.
correct.
Anything outside of that, it could be even on like you said with the boy Boots, because he has a certain soil. He got the soil knows who Boots is. The mainstream,
Yeah, him and Boots
maybe
will be
not so
even.
much. But when you so good, shout out to Rob Colbert. When you as good as you are, the mainstream guys kind of stay away from you because it's like a love-hate thing. You see what I'm saying? It's like the mainstream guys don't talk to you or talk about you until they really,
Right.
really forced to. So we guys that give shout outs to all levels of boxing and we show love to all levels of boxing because the guy I hate to mispronounce his name, but the young boy at what I would call a cruiserweight slash bridgerweight sort of future opponent at the 201, the young little cat from the early fight, like 201 or
Oh
something.
yeah, you talking about the first fight on the card? I know you talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah, I know you talking about.
Karif. I
I ain't
was
even gonna
impressed
try.
by
I
the
ain't even gonna
guy.
try to get his name. It's Lee.
I seen the boy Dustin Long fight before. He showed a better effort in the past fight. I put a tweet up that thought my lady thought he took a dive.
He could
He
have.
could have put a little extra something on it. I mean, them shots wasn't the body shot was nice, but he didn't react to the body shot. He kind of reacted to the head shot. So maybe it was something with the neck. So I don't want to say he was faking. I thought you just gotta wait and see because you never know, man. It just didn't look good the way he kind of went down so fast, and it wasn't a very super clean shot.
Yeah,
But
a lot of them dudes, they get they don't get paid enough to win, if you know what I mean. So that might have been one of them
I mean,
situations.
at a 4-2 and a former kickboxer and MMA guy, he has a combat heart. So I don't think he came in paycheck wise. I don't think he's a
But they
paycheck.
soft. But they soft. They're soft. Them MMA guys,
Oh
kickboxers,
yeah,
they're soft
yeah. Compared
defensively
to
and
yeah,
soft to
yeah.
the body.
I agree with that. Yeah, so I saw the left hook go through, but a lot of the commentators and everybody ringside was saying it was the early
Yeah,
shot to the head that devastated him. So what you have, you can get from nerve damage, things like that in that neck area. But
yeah,
I'm
and
gonna check for the results on the boy Dustin
there,
Long because again, we need guys like him in boxing that are really willing to get in there and earn they 10 points before they even ring the bell. You feel me?
and
You got
yeah,
to lace them up. So
and
big shoes.
another thing with them MMA guys, um, in a general sense, their hand-eye coordination is great. But when they're crossing over from MMA to boxing, their hand-eye coordination um kind of is a negative because in kickboxing and MMA, they're taught to look down. They're taught to look down and then bring their eyes up. In boxing, you have to keep your eyes up at all times. So you work
Yeah,
up high and you come down. So
yeah.
when
You
you
want to
can't do
read.
that, that's a
Yeah,
problem. That's
boxing
why.
is
Mhm.
is different in boxing because the hips you can't concentrate on your boxer's hips because then the punch is gonna be hitting you in the mouth. With MMA, you gotta watch the opponent's hips because of the kicking aspect of it. So you're right with the level change of eyes and it just being a default. Because if you looked at the guard on the cat Dustin Long, he came straight up high. So he really wasn't worried about kicks to the body, leg kicks. So he definitely came out trying to protect his head, even after he caught that first left hook. Or I guess it was like a kind of cross, a left cross that grazed him a little bit. But man, I hope he all right and it wasn't like that sort of thing where you pat these guys' records with these cupcake victories. You see what I'm saying? We know we do get that in boxing.
Yeah, and this is a whole lot of that. That's why I love
I
Sobot.
personally don't think we saw that tonight in the dude Justin Long. So big salute to him. So I
Nah,
disagree with
salute to him because
you.
he no, because he. I mean, he stepped in the ring and you know, uh, and he fought like what I'm saying. It's just you know, a lot of these guys like you don't find out about them. Like somebody can have a great record, but I'm like everybody has to have a step up fight, and that's really when you actually evaluate a guy is when he has that step up fight. What is he gonna do? It's kind of like Virgil Ortiz. Like Virgil Ortiz has some journeymen and things like that. Some guys that were smaller, and Maurice Hooker was his first like real test. But even when we were talking before, I was like, it's a real test against a 140 guy. So I still want to see him in a real test against a 147 guy. Because some of the stuff he was getting away with tonight, he was able to get away with it because it was Hooker. He's
Well,
not getting away with some of that stuff with some of these other welterweights.
I'm gonna give you a name, but it's more international, and because it's the same streaming and they do business together, I was gonna say Junior
Who?
Ben
Who you say?
Ben Junior.
Oh, Connor Ben.
Yeah,
Connor Ben. Yeah.
I mean, because when I think of fight matchups, bro, the first thing that comes to my mind is in house because of the way we know how boxing is. Guys don't go around the corner a lot. They don't cross the street a lot. So when you want to look next level fight, for me, I think you got to go in house. You got to kind of go, somebody you used to doing business with. You feel me? Like how you said, Salito. Is that where am I pronouncing that promotional name right? Salito.
Oh, Salida Promotions. Yeah, 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 yeah. Salida
Remember how
Promotions.
you told me they do a lot of business and with PBC?
Yeah.
If you're not one of them type of guys, then and I believe Golden Boy and Maxroom they do kind of can do a lot of business back and forth because they do use the same streaming site in DAZN, however you want to pronounce it. But like I said, I think that's a good fight to make for Virgil, a guy not with a lot of power that I think you're worried about, but a guy that's tough as you are and could give you that sort of toe-to-toe fight and boxing. Because again, Nigel Chin hasn't really been tested by them guys from across the pond. It also gives Virgil Ortiz a little bit of international look. And you know the essays, shout out to the Mexicans, they been going over there doing some work over there across the pond. So that's possibly a possible fight. I don't know. You know, I'm no matchmaker. Your thoughts?
No, I wouldn't have a problem if they I wouldn't have a problem if they made the fight. I don't think him beating Conor Ben or getting him closer to what he's trying to accomplish. Because I feel like Virgil is right. He needs to find out whether he's A level ready or he's B level ready. So I don't think his performance against Maurice Hooker actually answered that question for me. The name I was thinking is Jesse Vargas at 147. I think that's a great fight for Virgil Ortiz. He
ain't Vargas top ranked though?
Say it again.
Ain't Vargas top ranked?
Nah, Vargas ain't top ranked. He fight on his own.
When is the last time I seen Vargas fight? Bro,
Before Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, that was a minute ago. That's why I couldn't figure out who he was associated with.
Yeah, that was on the zone. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
But Mikey Garcia is was he independent at the time, and they did the fight based on
it was a fight. It was a one-off. It was a one-off with the zone. Like he signed.
That's what helped him go independent too. So yeah.
Yeah, he signed a one-fight deal. But Jesse Vargas was with the zone at that particular time. It's just he hasn't fought since then. But I think that's a great fight for Virgil Ortiz.
I don't know why I thought he was with Bob Aaron.
Yeah,
it seemed like a Bob Aaron name to me. But I know you talk about now that you bring up the zone. I affiliate his face with that fight now.
I think Jesse Vargas is a great name.
But is that a fight that you think will really bring some eyes to the table?
Absolutely. They put that fight in Texas. That fight does numbers. And on top of that, if Virgil Ortiz does well against Jesse Vargas, you can make the claim that he's ready for the next level guys. Because it's 147 is tiers. You know what I'm saying? So
it's deep.
He beats Jesse Vargas, then I would say he's ready for Danny. He's ready for Thurman. Because that's the next level up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm gonna take your word on that one. I was thinking more marketing wise because his skill is set.
He don't need to be marketed. We just said he was pay-per-view. He don't need to be marketed.
No, but to support his pay-per-view status, if you did do a B-level sort of fight, just to really set him up for kind of a clash, a major clash, or even putting him in the B category in a clash, I think a Ben, an international fight. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it makes him a bigger. It makes him a bigger. It makes him a bigger name. It doesn't help him as far as pay-per-view.
Remember, DAZN is global. So if you can set up a fight that kind of makes the world eyes kind of try to meet at one time, because you know how they do it now. They're doing morning cards for us, where we do morning cards or afternoon cards, and they're also doing prime time cards, which I'm talking American time zone. But imagine if they could do a fight like a setup across the pond where they could kind of get some major eyes kind of tuned in all at one time, do a semi-afternoon fight, maybe somewhere on the island, somewhere like that.
That fight, if he fights a Conor Ben, like that just it builds his UK popularity. It's still.
You don't think it does not for its record?
So Conor Ben is okay. He's okay, but he's still on the come up though.
Yeah, I get you.
He's still on the come up. Yeah,
I get your point. I think now that you look at it, like when you say Conor's on the come up, I kind of think Virgil's past to come up now.
Yeah,
I think
he's on that fringe. He's on that fringe status.
yeah, he needs a defining fight. You say fringe, I say defining. This one was the entry. This one was I'm at the table now. Who's coming to sit down and really talk to me? So
I can
yeah,
agree with
he
that.
needs a defining fight at 147.
I would say, yeah, Jesse Vargas would be the perfect opponent for him right now.
Jesse Vargas. I'll see if I can dig up another name. You know me, I always find one.
Oh, I don't think he beats.
Yo.
I don't think he beats any of the big dogs. He doesn't beat Spence. He doesn't beat Boots. He doesn't beat Bud. He doesn't beat Porter.
But
I think Ugas beats him. I think Ugas.
I think now I'm gonna be honest. You gave up 3 names he can't beat. I'm gonna give you 3 names he can beat. He can beat Broner. He can beat Ugas. And honestly, he may be able to beat Porter. And Porter is my guy.
He definitely loses.
He definitely loses
to Porter. He definitely loses to Porter.
You think he gets outpunched by Porter?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He loses.
I think he punches cleaner than Porter. I think and from what I saw tonight, his punch selection was on point. He just took some damage. I don't think Porter punches as sharp and as straight as Hooker does to create that damage. Hooks don't give you the damage like straight punches.
We can agree that Porter punches harder than Hooker, though. Imagine Porter landing those shots.
Bro, listen, definitely, I agree with that. But when I'm saying what we saw damage. We didn't see pain. We didn't see reaction. We saw damage. Damage comes from your straight punches. Hooker landed a lot of straight punches. He used some good angles and some good counter combination punches to get those sharp punches off. So Howard doesn't do the damage because Porter, we know he punches outside, does a lot of hooks, does a lot of toe-to-toe body work, elbow punching, hip shots, that sort of work, which can grind a young fighter like Virgil down. But damage facial-wise, I think he can stand up, and maybe in a style makes fights. Whose punches is cleaner, who's showing better foot positioning.
Porter makes Virgil Ortiz's face look worse than Hooker did.
Huh?
Porter make Virgil Ortiz's face look worse than Hooker did.
Okay.
You seen Errol Spence face?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the worst matchup. Actually, Sean Porter is the worst matchup for Virgil Ortiz. He's the worst matchup for Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz's style is perfect for Sean. Sean to get off like you've never seen Sean get off before offensively.
But the one thing that I can say,
field day, bro.
But I'm telling you, the one thing I like about Virgil, he can take a punch, and his body work, like you said earlier in this convo, allows him to kind of stay around. It's going to pay off round 6, round 5. And the way Porter moves and the way Porter punches and his own output can kind of hurt him in return if he's accepting that left hook and that straight jab to the body the way Virgil did tonight. So I just think it will be an interesting fight, but I'm not going to say you're wrong with that matchup. But again, another name that I think he could beat, and that's right now, if he was staying at 147, Danny Garcia. And these all PBC.
Now we can agree there. He beats Danny right now. Okay. He beats Danny right now. He beats Danny right now. I think Danny is, even though he said he's moving up to 154, but like he fights Danny, he beats Danny right now. He beats Danny. Okay. And that's not because I think Virgil was on some other type of level. I think Danny's on a decline.
Yeah, I think it's just the way. For me, I think if Danny just would counter punch too much, his style would match.
Yeah, he would get out worked. He would get out.
That's how I would break it down. I don't think Danny would get.
I think he beats
anything like that or just out. I just think his style just doesn't bode well against a dude like Virgil, who's kind of a come forward guy, smart about the way he comes forward. Because I don't think he put himself in a lot of danger with Hooker. even though he did eat some counter punching in there. But to me, I saw chin. Like when I saw Charlos take some shots, and it was like, well, at some point in boxing, you're gonna have to eat something. How do you react? What do you do after it? And
Well,
for me tonight, I thought Virgil proved that he does have a good stiff chin. He may not have the face that reacts well to punches, but that's boxing. You know, you get
right.
headbutts,
No,
elbows and all that. So you're gonna get damage like that. But
yeah.
as far as reacting in fight wise, he reacted well tonight to
Yeah,
a
he
guy
reacted well.
stiff and
But
clean.
again, it was against a 140-pound guy, so it's just
Yeah,
like he did well.
yes, Jeff, that's true. But again, you're still getting punched in the face. If a kid
Yeah,
12
but
years old punch you in the face enough, he at
bro,
some point is going to do damage.
but you
You're
boxed
reacting
before.
well
I ain't
to
gonna,
it,
bro. I ain't gonna
and
let
you
you get
knock
away with
that
that.
kid the fuck
I'm
out.
not gonna let you get away with that, bro. I ain't gonna let you get away with that. Hell no, I ain't gonna let you get away with that because you done been in the ring before. I ain't letting you get away with that shit. I know you want. I know I'm on your show, but I'm not gonna let you get away with that shit. You know that's a damn lie, bro. You know that's a damn lie. There's a difference between catching shots from a 140 guy and a natural 147 guy. You know that.
I,
You try to get
I'm,
away with
I'm,
that
I'm,
shit because it's late.
I'm on, and this part of the live, Jeff. I'm on Ortiz. I'm trying to get him to that next level fight,
I'm
baby.
with you.
You need to see it. So
You
I
know
just,
what?
I was trying to help him, man.
Bro.
But you're
I
right.
feel
You're
you
right,
wrong.
though, Jeff. You're right.
Listen, he'll beat Danny, and there's a pretty good chance he'll beat Ugas because I don't think Ugas got enough power to keep him off him.
I'm gonna
Outside
tell
of
you why he beats Ugas.
everybody
He
else,
has better punch selection than Ugas.
I
And if
agree with that.
Ugas,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
if
He would
they
beat
go toe to
Ugas.
toe, Ugas punch selection won't keep him in the fight.
I just don't think his power to keep him in the fight. I don't think it's power. I don't think he has enough
And he
power to keep
did,
Virgil
yo,
off.
I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to the Casa Grand partner that opened him up and showed a little bit of chinniness from Ugas in that last fight. Because
Yeah, you got to factor that
he'd have
in.
got to him. He'd have
Yeah,
got to him.
and the thing that's crazy, I think those are only 4 shots he landed all night. But he heard
But
him. He
yeah,
heard him with them shots, bro.
he was
But I,
that in that fight. I thought he was overtly patient, bro. He was just too. He let Ugas get off, and then he was trying to get off, and
man,
his
I think,
timing was off.
yeah, Oscar's smart though. Oscar De La Hoya's smart. He's not gonna put him in with no killer right now. He's not gonna put him in with no killer right now. He's gonna play this smart. He's gonna play it smart.
No, bro. If you tap into the, I just dropped one. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Before I did the live, I dropped a video before I did some commentary ringside, and the way he was talking like the lineup is all major name from here on out.
Yeah, he's supposed to say that though. He's
No,
supposed to
but
say that.
actually, if you're looking at it from a business perspective, that's the only real way to guarantee a serious bag. I don't think you could do a fight like this and then take a step back, bro.
Yeah, but
You
you
can't do a
can't. But
fight
you
like this
can't
and then
throw.
turn
You
around and come
can't
back.
throw your guy. You can't. And Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya knows this more than anybody. I'm gonna tell you why. They made that same mistake with Fernando Vargas. Fernando Vargas was the same age, 22 years old, and they threw him up against Oscar De La Hoya, and they threw him up against Felix Trinidad before he was the age of 24. His career was never the same after that. You have to be careful with a guy that young. After watching him taking as many shots as he took from Hooker tonight, they not putting him in, not in his next fight, maybe next year or something, but not in his next fight. He's not getting no killer in his next fight.
No,
He's not getting
I
killer.
wouldn't say killer, bro. Now that's where I think we kind of misconstrued each other. I'm just saying it has to be a marketable guy. It has to be another hooker. It has to be a hooker-esque, a name. It can't be some
What name you
7-Eleven
thinking?
hook, bro. And you see what I'm saying?
No,
You can't take a
I
step
agree
back.
with that. I agree with that.
That's what I meant with that. Like you
No,
gotta
I can
keep
agree with
pushing
that.
him, taking a step up the ladder. And again, I agree with you. He's not ready for any of the big dogs. It was good that they used them
Give
to
me
promote this fight.
give me a
Crawford
name
coming
outside
through.
of
I know he got a bag.
give me a name outside of Connor Ben and Jesse Vargas. You got anybody else in mind?
I got to do a little bit more homework for that Golden Boy roster and what's on Matchroom. I don't have all their names at the top of my head, and I don't want to, step in my shit. You know what I'm saying? But off the top of my head, I thought kind of Ben for name
another good fight, bro. Even though the politics are getting in the way of it. Like, if I was Oscar, I think his next two fights would be Jesse Vargas and Josecito Lopez. Those would be the perfect two opponents for him.
I can see Josecito Lopez. I like that fight.
Yeah, because they're fights that he would be favored in, but there's a risk factor for both of those fights, and they're both quality guys. Get a better gauge.
You say risk factor. I would just say entertaining. Both of those fights could be entertaining.
It's a risk factor because both of them. The risk.
No, not to say that you're wrong in using the word risk.
No, I'm not saying.
I would just switch it and say entertaining for my description. Not that you're wrong, but you're right. All fights are a risk. But just because the Lopez, for me, Josecito is a vet, so he knows how to deal with being hurt the way we thought, Hooker did.
The only reason I say there's a risk for Virgil Ortiz is probably in both of those fights he's going to be taking shots from from two natural 147 pounders. That's why I agree with you. That's why I more agree with you with Josecito, more or less than Jesse Vargas, because I'm not sure Vargas is a guy that'll really go toe to toe with Virgil. No, he'll go toe to toe with him. He don't have the power.
Counterpunch. I think Vargas is more of a one-punch counterpunch guy, and that's what got to me Estrada in trouble against Chocolito. I thought his counterpunching was only one at a time, other than the times he did open up offensively, lead with some good body punching. He did win some rounds, but when he counterpunched the aggressiveness of Chocolito, was only one, because he had his hand on across the fence. So he only had one shot to answer back with. Because remember, if you looked at it, the way he was guarding himself, he had across the fence. You can't punch well from that way. So he only had one hand backing up to counter with in that Estrada Chocolito fight. So if you're looking at Vargas, I think Vargas is a one-punch counter-puncher. But if he can punch well and precise, he can make it an interesting fight.
Yeah, he gave Mikey problems.
So the chin, I think he has the chin to really test Vargas and kind of push the fight and make it go the distance.
I think those are. If I was Oscar, those would be the two fights I would match them up again. They're and it fits your criteria. It's the Maurice Hooker level type guys. They're actually above Maurice Hooker. And on top of that, they're not the big dogs neither. I think those are two of the perfect matchups for Virgil Ortiz going forward. But I mean, he did well tonight. Man. Kudos to both of those guys.
All right, man. We're gonna close him out on that note, man. G5, man. Let the people know where you at, where you be.
Oh man, all over the place, man. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. G5 Jeff TV. You know what I'm saying? Goodfellas of Boxing. Boxing First Vlog. VP Shane and myself. That's the lives that we do. And we all over the place, man. We on top of things when it comes down to boxing, man. So, big shout out to you, big bro. Definitely making big moves. And whenever I get a chance to chop it up, talk for boxing with you, it's some good times. So I appreciate the invite, bro. And continue to do your thing, man.
I appreciate the support, family. Like you said, man, we all over the place. IG, Twitter, you know what I mean? I even do some work on TikTok for the folks. So that being said, man, we just want to appreciate anybody that's going to hit us on the follow back, you know what I mean? And just keep rocking with us, man, because we working hard, man. We the Goodfellas in Boxing, man. Salute to the big homie, and I'm going to tap in with you later, bro. Have a good night, fam.
All right, appreciate you, family.
All right, my guy.